We're on the air, and it is once again race day today here in FLA. It is qualifying time here for the Great American Race, the 2025 running of the NR 2003 Mission Barbecue Cup Series is Smokey's Best Damn Garage Daytona 500, live exclusively here on the North American Sim Racing Network. Trey Wright on the call for the 5-star race car bodies duels here at the Daytona International Speedway. First of 2 duel races here this afternoon, starting off with duel number 1 for all the drivers that qualified in the odd starting spots during pole qualifying yesterday afternoon. And set to be another great one here today. Thomas Troxel sits on the pole for duel number 1, and regardless of what happens in this duel, that 00 Toyota is locked in as the pole sitter for Saturday's running of the Great American Race right here on the North American Sim Racing Network. Cole Sampson starts on the outside of the 00 in the number 5, and we'll get over all the rest of the starting lineup here in just one moment. But without further ado, let's get things kicked off here and go down trackside to get the most famous words in motorsports to kick off duel number 1 of the 5-star race car bodies duels in Daytona.
Drivers, start your engines!
And the engines roar to life on the pit lane here at the World Center of Racing, ready to do battle for 20 laps around the 2.5-mile long Daytona International Speedway. Thomas Troxel and 5 of Cole Sampson in row number 1 for duel number 1. Like we said, Carson Miller, Keegan Thompson in row number 2. Row 3, Angel Gutierrez and Dylan Matthews. Row number 4, the 7 of John Andrews and the 98 of Charlie Davenport. And rounding out the top 10, Michael Lewis will attempt to qualify for his first Daytona 500. Alongside the number 96 of Alex San Vitale. Taking a look at the rest of the field, both Macklin Hamill Enterprise cars and both Auto Island Motorsports cars. And here in duel number 1, there's a look at Toby Murphy in that number 20 machine. Fresh off of a championship in his rookie season, he's to the outside of the 58 of Logan Alexander in at the number 14 starting position. All 3 entries for Appleseed Racing in this duel as well. As all the way in the back there is Riley Sampson in the 24. So you've seen the rest of your starting lineup on your screen by now. Same thing with the race analysis. 20 laps for 50 miles. Well, the World Center of Racing here in Daytona. No pit stops, obviously. Set to be a fun one here. To find out who and where everybody will sit for the Great American Race. We already know where Thomas Troxel will be sitting, on the front row in the pole position. No matter what happens in the duel, everybody else's fate will be decided here in duel number 1 and later on in duel number 2. Pace car will make its way down the pit lane here. About to go through the race's restart zone are Thomas Troxel and Cole Sampson, and there they are, green flag waving in the air, and duel number 1 of the 5-star race car bodies duels is underway from Daytona. Troxel got a good jump right off of the start. Here comes Carson Miller to the inside of the 00 and that FYE number 8 Dodge. He'll go to the point as they rumble off of turn number 4, side by side throughout the entirety of this pack. Nearly being split 3 wide was the 8 machine. He'll go to the outside, side by side, right at the line. And Angel Gutierrez not able to quite barely lead lap number 1. Laps do not matter. Laps led do not matter. Gutierrez will go to the front of the field. Again, speedway physics here at Daytona, which means we are going to see these drivers cycling like Lance Armstrong. Andrews to the point, Lewis back behind him to help, and we're going to see how strong this cycle is here. It's a smaller pack than we typically see. We usually see the 41 car field, or the 42 car field, but now it's a 21 car field here for the duel. barely leading at the line there was that 28 machine by about 9/100ths of a second. Similar gap between Mike Vincent Jr. and Skylar Taylor for the Daytona 2.4 GTLM finish here a couple of weeks ago. Andrews to the point in the 7. Michael Lewis will go underneath of him. Keeping an eye on where that 5 and 00 are. Right now, the 3rd and 4th cars in line. Let's see how long it takes those two to cycle all the way to the back and back up to the front here. In the cycle race, Andrews will remain on the inside lane. Gutierrez remains on the outside lane. He'll lead lap number 3 of 20. It looks like these guys are pretty much just saying single file in their respective lines, getting a little bit out in front there. Is that 7 machine? Does Lewis go to the inside? Yes, he does. Sitting duck right in the middle is the 7 of Andrews, and he'll go all the way back. Lewis bouncing up and down on that hard surface here on the 2008 version of this track. 3 wide off of turn number 4. Andrews is going to go all the way to the back of the boondocks. 3 wide for the race lead. San Vitale going underneath. He'll put the 90 machine in the middle as 3 lanes will now form here. The middle lane's only got 2 drivers so far. Does Campbell Marsh in the 31 go high? No, he'll stay down tucked low. Logan Alexander, he's trying to make it 4 wide, thinks better of it right now. A little bit of a gap opening up as he'll push Bruno Di Giacomo. Up towards the front as that bottom lane will disintegrate just a little bit. 3 wide for 3rd on back, and all this is happening behind Angel Gutierrez in that Home Depot number 28 car. These guys already getting really racy in the back as Logan Williams losing a little bit touch with the field as he fell back in that 17, but they are 3 wide. The majority of this field right now into the outside wall. That's Keegan Thompson, who's up into the marbles. He is riding the lightning on the outside, and that is going to put that 14 car all the way in the back. A tough break for Keegan Thompson. See the damage on the right-hand side of that Viagra Chevy SS. And without a caution here, that is going to relegate that 14 car starting in the 41st starting position here on Saturday afternoon. Tough break for the Riley, Alberta native. Troxel hit the outside wall going off of 4, and Gutierrez continues to weave his way through this field, but he is under fire from Di Giacomo, who's being split between the 28 and the 58, the 79 in the middle. Here comes Logan Alexander, 2-time winner last season, both Diamond Ridge and Pocono. The driver of that 58 car, he'll go to the point in that Celsius Strawberry Lemonade ride, and more cars in the outside wall. 2-3 cars. Carson Miller and Alexandre Vitale up into the safer barrier. No, it'll relegate those drivers to the back. These guys really forcing the issue here in the duel, and I'm a little bit surprised why, because starting positions, again, it's nice to add a duel win to your resume, but don't really mean all that much in the grand scheme of things. With the cycle racing that we're going to see on Saturday anyways, Angel Gutierrez up into the outside wall hard, 4 wide off of the corner. They keep it straight for now. Gutierrez will be relegated back. Thought he was going to come down the pit lane there for a second, but he'll keep wheels underneath that 28 Home Depot Chevy Monte Carlo SS for now. And Keegan Thompson, despite everybody hitting the wall, Thompson's the only one to have lost the draft. So, again, like we said, without anybody DNFing in this race or spinning out, the 14 car is going to be relegated all the way to row number 21 on Saturday afternoon. And speaking of 21, the man who started 21st in this race, Stano Georgi, thunder into the front of this field here as we approach the midway point in duel number 1 of the 5-star Race Car Bodies duels. Riley Sampson will get the run off the corner. More cars on that outside lane. The draft will trundle along. Now this bottom line will get reorganized just a little bit here 3 by 3 wide, all happening behind the 24 of Riley Sampson. You got Logan Williams leading the lower line, Georgia leading the middle, and conducting that outside lane for now is that 58 car of Alexander, and now it'll be led by the 24 of Sampson, who's being a little bit wishy-washy on which line he wants to go with. Georgia will go down low, middle line dissipating as Corey Case, the 32 machine of Caleb Rose. We'll move back just a little bit as that middle line will lose some steam. Sampson will lead. Cross flags halfway home here in duel number 1 as the field will get reorganized, and it's the tale of 2 lines. The bottom line with all the momentum right now. Keegan Thompson just now is getting to the start-finish line as the rest of the field is on through turn number 2, and they're onto the back straightaway. Sampson by about half a car length. Here comes Georgia down low. Toby Murphy up to 3rd. He can keep the wheels underneath that 20 car. He is bouncing all the way up and down like he's on a trampoline on that rough pavement. Still a lot of ways to go. 23 miles remain. The 5-star race car bodies duels, and it is still anyone's game here. Set to look out for where Thomas Troxel and Cole Sampson are. Sampson right on the bottom lane, 3 wide as the middle lane will gain a little bit of ground. See, Gutierrez thought about going with this middle line. He'll think better of it. Both Georgia and Murphy will move up into the center lane. 3 cars, 3 lines all under a blanket right now as they race past here on turn number 4. Sampson the run on the outside lane, 3 wide at the start-finish line, and these guys got to be careful not to junk their cars. Oh, that's the 79 and the 75. That's both Otter Island cars up into the outside wall. They couldn't handle it. I tell you, that's going to be a problem on Saturday, as those guys getting a little bit up there in the marbles, especially in turns 1 and 2. Sampson continues to orchestrate things around here. This field might actually catch up to Keegan Thompson before this race is over. That just shows how powerful the draft is. Keegan right now entering turn 3, and these guys are on the other end of the speedway in turn 1. I don't know. I believe that incident. I believe that Thompson went hard into the wall on lap 7. 14, they're halfway. They might catch him coming back to the checkered flag. Oh, they did gain a lot of ground on that 14th car, so that'll be a story to watch here. 6 to go at the line. Here's Michael Lewis in the number 90 JBL Ford Fusion. NS Racing trying to get their first win underneath the Ford banner with Chevrolets for 4 seasons before switching over to the Blue Ovals. We got a lot of Fords in the field here in this upcoming season. A lot of Fords, a lot of Toyotas. The Chevrolets and the Dodges are actually in the minority this season. It's weird to see Ford in the majority along with Toyota. We obviously know how many Toyota teams there are. Got 2 Toyotas, nose to tail, trying to push one another to this lead here in duel number 1 with 5 to go here. The first of 2 5-star bodies duels in Daytona. Now it's Alexandre Vitale up into the marvels. Subsequently, that inside lane completely dissipated with that 96 car going all the way to the back, and he might lose the draft here. I think he definitely is. That might be same thing for the 98 of Charlie Davenport, and that is really, really rough for those guys. Everybody's still playing really aggressive. Murphy almost got into the outside wall. 4 to go as Riley Sampson in a dead heat with this 7 car. At the stripe, they were separated by 3 1/1000ths of a second. Still, this top and bottom lanes will not let one another go. Trying to make the middle lane work is John Andrews. He's going to get snookered out of the second spot, and that might snooker the 24 car as well. He goes to the middle. No, he's going to have a good run off of the corner. Andrews now trapped 3 wide. Where does Sampson go? Huge run coming from the top lane. Now it's dissipated. Here comes the 90 of Lewis. Top lane opening up a little bit of a gap for that 24 to get through. Cole Sampson in the outside wall. That is now 2 Appleseed Racing cars who got into the marbles, and that'll be the end of the day for Cole Sampson. Tough break for that 5 car. Coming around to 2 laps to go in duel number 1 of the 5-star race car bodies duels. It is still anybody's race. Riley Sampson has been the dominant driver all afternoon long. Sticks high, 2 to go here in duel number 1. George I. The 2021 winner is getting loose and nearly wrecking was the 17 of Williams. Nearly collected the 20 of Toby Murphy along with him, and Murphy's going to lose some spots in that 20 car. It might accordion the rest of this field. Corey Case trying to get around Toby Murphy, but the battle is up front. Who's got the most drivers? It's the middle lane for now. Lewis all the way up. Here they come. White flag is in the air one more time around the Daytona International Speedway. Dead heat for the white flag. Lewis got him this time. Can he get it on the way back? Chevy, Ford, Dodge, top 3 side by side. George I, the 2022 winner. Or rather, the 2021 winner. Down the back straightaway, does he have enough help? He's falling back a little bit in that 34 car. Lewis trying to win duel number 1, his first ever race here on the Mission Barbecue Cup Series. Coming out of turns 3 and 4. He's got nothing behind him. Nothing next to him, however. Checkered flag waving in the air. One final opportunity negated by the 90 car, and Michael Lewis will win duel number 1. Good win for Lewis. And the rookie will start 3rd for the Great American Race Saturday afternoon. Dano Georgi will start in 5th. 7 car John Andrews starts in 7th. Rounding out the top 10, starting in 9th, will be Riley Sampson in that number 24 car. Be a good starting spot for there for Michael Lewis for the Great American Race as Thomas Troxel finishes this race in 10th. But he will start on the pole position for the Great American Race. Taking a look at the official standings, Lewis, Georgi, Andrews, Sampson, Elijah Gordon, the top 5. So Elijah Gordon will actually... So Lewis will start 3rd, yes. 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th for Riley Sampson, and 11th for Elijah Gordon, the 47 car, and go all the way down to Keegan Thompson. He'll be starting in the 41st starting spot. Same thing with Alex Sanvitale, Logan Williams, Cole Sampson, Bruno DiGiacomo. Those 5 cars hitting the outside lane. Tough break for all those guys, but we'll be back in just a couple of moments, and when we return, it'll be time for duel number 2 of the 5-star race car bodies duels here from the Daytona International Speedway. And we are back here in a jiffy for duel number 2 of the 5-star race car bodies duels here from Daytona, and without further ado, we're going to get right into the swing of things here as Esteban Lacer will lead the field to the green flag in duel number 2.
Drivers, start your engines!
And the engines roar to life here for the second duel. Set to be another good one here today as Esteban Lacer starting on the outside pole. Will lead this field to green. This will now be to set the starting positions for the outside lane for the Great American Race. Completing row number 1, Daniel Bouchard, looking to get another win here at Daytona. Won the GT Daytona race here all the way back in late January. For Daytona 2.4, Owen Miles, Alex Lozano in row 2, Alexander Rowe, Brenna Wilmington row 3. row number 4. Completed by the 92 of Braden Perez and Danny Fallington in the 16, and top 10 rounded out by the 13 of Igor Barreto and the double 9 car, the 99 of Zachary Fitzwater. Taking a look at the rest of the field to make the show, caboosed by Reggie Fogelman in the 3, Matt Wolf next to the driver. The 38 car for the last 3 seasons, Ryan Durrani in the 86. A lot of owner drivers here in duel number 2. Being Eric Monaco, same thing for Matthew Hubert, Skylar Taylor, Igor Barreto, Brennan Wilmington as well, and Owen Miles. And Esteban Leclerc for the Gerben Racing Team. Single car program trying to set the tone here in this season in Speed Weeks. Stapleton, another car owner, and Alexander Rowe. Most of the owner drivers in this race right now, and if you want to include the 92 car of Braden Perez, a partial owner of the Broke Boys Garage program, is the owner of that 11 car, as well as the man who's sitting on the pole, Thomas Troxel, in the 00. On Saturday afternoon, duel number 1 has been wrapped up. Here we go for duel number 2. They're through the race's restart zone and off and away in the second of 2 duels here in Daytona. Another good jump off of the start there for Leclerc, and he'll jump out to the race lead and already 3 wide behind him. And duel number 2 is typically where we see the aggressiveness pick up in Alexander Rowe. Not playing any games in the early going. That 84 car going underneath the 05 and the 07. So on duel number 1, a lot of these guys riding the Lightning up in that high area. So we'll go onto the front straightaway for the first time, and Alexander Rowe will lead lap number 1 here at Daytona in duel number 2. These guys are already packing it in like sardines in this second duel race, and this is where we're going to see a lot of poop go sideways, to coin a phrase. Still packing it in very deep, 3 by 3 wide, all the way through this entire field, about to go 3 wide into this corner. Bradley Ream at the forefront in the 2. All 3 entries for Chevy Power Racing in this second duel. Trying to get that 2 car all the way to the front, and Alex Lozano trying to join Thomas Troxel. Starting inside the top 5 for the Great American Race, Lozano is mitigated deep in the field in that purple and black 11. Sponsored by FedEx Racing, that Camry is. Here comes Matthew Hubert, the number 23 Zivia Ford Fusion. Like we said, a lot of Fords this season and 2 blue ovals. But right now leading the way in that bottom lane, 3 in total. A lot of Dodges, a lot of Chevrolets, and only 1 Toyota in that bottom lane. A lot of Fords in the top lane as well, including the 2 other entries for NS Racing. But a lot of Dodges as well, and a couple of Chevrolets. See 2 Dodges up in there, the 07 and the 13. 71 machine of Mitchell Collins down below, and whole entire field packed in hard like sardines. And that's a lot of race cars around that 92 of Braden Perez, the defending Daytona 500 champion. He is marred really, really deep in this field. Same thing for Danny Fallington, last driver to win a super speedway race here on the North American Sim Racing Network, and nearly trouble up front. Oh, I thought that 23 of Hubert was going to spin off the front end of Durrani in the 86. Durrani will hold serve, however. Same thing with Hubert as he'll go to the front. Now does Durrani make it interesting on the inside lane? He thought about it for a brief moment. Hubert sliding up just a tad. Again, this is where everything and all hell is going to break loose here. 5 laps down, 15 to go in duel number 2. Barretto led it on the outside by about 2/1000ths of a second over Bradley Ream. This is about the point in the race in duel number 1 where we saw the tires start to go a little bit. Saw some drivers lose it, careening into the outside retaining wall. Fortunately, they were able to keep it straight. We had a caution-free duel number 1. Right now, the way that these guys are racing, I don't think that's going to be the same way. And Danny Fallington is going to go through the Keegan-Thompson syndrome. I thought that Stapleton and Collins were going to wreck there right off of turn number 4. That was really, really close, and probably starting last in the field is going to be that 16 car if these guys don't wreck here in about 5 seconds, which they might. Oh, Durrani is really thinking about making that 4 wide down there. I don't think that he should. I really don't think you want to go 4 wide, especially not even at the midway point, as Fallington will fall back. He's not going to win the duel, and he's likely going to start last in the Great American Race on Saturday. Meanwhile, another dead heat at the line. Barretto by about half of a wheel well over that 2 machine. The 23, 3 wide at the line for the top spot. Hubert leads them off of turn number 2, down the back straightaway for the 8th time under speed. And Danny Fallington officially losing the draft. He is behind by about a half of a mile at this point. He's going to need a caution to come out to catch back up to these guys. Again, tough break for Fallington, 2-time winner of the New Year's 500, and has only got 1 win under his belt. A race at Willow Springs last summer, midway through the season schedule, and Fallington is excited to hear that Willow Springs is not only returning, but it's being moved up to last weekend in February. Part of the doubleheader weekend with the Flowmaster Grand Touring Championship all the way over in Rosamond, California. Set to be a really good one there. FMGTC on Friday and Mission Barbecue Cup Series action on Saturday, with the flowers blooming, the grass green as the Irish love it. Over on Rosamond, California, that'll be race number 2, and Alexander Rowe hard into the outside wall, nearly took the 84 with him. Scratch that, the 64 nearly got collided by the 84, and Alexander Rowe is going to break up this whole pack, and you feel like that needed to happen because all hell was going to break loose there in a brief moment. Cross flags this time by field, losing a little bit of steam. Braden Perez knocks down the wall coming off of 4 into the tri-oval. Again, this is a new version of this track. We got the safer barriers all around the wall. The 2008 version, and now moving up to the inside is that 86. Pressure was alleviated up top, and finally able to make a gap. The work there was Durrani, and trying to go to the point. Outside lane's going to get the run off the corner, however. Ream is going to try to lead this lap. No, Durrani, Ream side by side. Another dead heat right at the stripe, and Durrani by a wheel well will lead lap number 11 as both Rowe and Fallington. Falling all the way back, Fallington way off of the pace there in the 16. And now Braden Perez appears to have knocked down the wall going through turn number 1. A little close for comfort there between the 64 and the 11 as the 84 will also lose touch with the rest of this field. Taylor will go to the point, 4 wide. Here's Fogelman. Taylor leaning on that 86 car. Somehow they keep it straight. Oh, looking on that dead-on angle through the tri-oval. I thought that 45 was going to wash up into Durrani and send that entire outside lane to the garage area. My goodness. Good driving there from Durrani, a little reckless there from Skylar Taylor, but nonetheless, they'll keep the cars straight and keep their Hoosiers underneath of them. But that is the type of aggressive racing that's gonna get these cars killed, unfortunately. 7 to go in duel number 2. Reggie Fogelman leads that time by. What does Brennan Wilmington do? Down on that inside lane, back onto the back straightaway once again. Taking a look at all 19 cars remaining in the thick of this. A little bobble there from the 62 coming off the corner. He'll keep it straight, run coming from the outside. Side by side, the 62 and the 45. Wilmington a little bit at the line, 6 to go. He's got the edge. Not going to catch up to the 16. He's just trying to run the rest of his race there. It's that machine of Danny Fallington, but they're getting bunched back up here. And here we go, 19 cars under a blanket. Energy starting to ramp up here as we come back to 5 laps to go in duel number 2. All these drivers want a good starting position for Saturday's main event, the Smokey's Best Damn Garage Daytona 500. Count them, 5 laps to go in duel number 2. Rodriguez right in the middle. Here comes Collins looking for another clutch performance in that 71. Wilmington up front, trying to join Michael Lewis as winners of the duels. He'll lead the field around to 4 laps to go. Esteban Lasser playing it safe, trying to keep that 64 car clean for Saturday. Again, he won the outside pole. Doesn't matter where he finishes in this race. He will sit on the front row for the 50-lap main event here on Saturday afternoon on the North American Sim Racing Network. But that is then, this is now. 3.5 laps to go in Daytona. It's Brennan Wilmington, the Pied Piper on the super speedways, looking for his first win in any capacity on this channel in about 2 years. He and Collins door to door at the start-finish line, 3 to go at the stripe. Now 4 wide. Here we go. Forcing the issue is at 0-7. This is where it's going to get a little tight off of the corner. Somehow they'll keep it straight for now. Still 4 wide going down the back straightaway. Now it files down to 3 wide. Durrani's going to remain at 4 wide. Durrani on the outside. Here comes the 0-7. Are they going to be able to keep it straight? And they will. And getting out of the biggest pickle in this race so far. And keeping everybody's cars clean and the race green. Sticks high, 2 laps to go, and that might be the energy dissipating move that Wilmington needed. Trying to command these 3 lanes here, might go down to 2, but that 3rd lane picking up steam with the 71 of Collins. Now he shifts up high. Collins trying to play both lanes for the momentum, tracking back and dragging the brake a little bit there is Brennan Wilmington. 2 miles to go in duel number 2, and up into the outside wall was Igor Barreto. He keeps it straight. Caution is not out. We remain green. White flag is in the air. One more time around the Daytona International Speedway. Brennan Wilmington with the lead. Mitchell Collins right behind him. Here comes the 0-7 with not a whole lot of help as Daniel Bouchard. Bouchard looking to get some help, and he's going to have a big run coming on this inside lane. Where does Wilmington go? Here comes Stapleton in the 97. That's going to dissipate that inside lane a little bit. Stapleton with a run. This is happening behind that 62 car of Brennan Wilmington, coming off of turns 3 and 4. Nothing beside him, nothing out back. Checkered flag in the air. Duel number 2 goes to the 62 of Brennan Wilmington. He wins the second duel. And you had a feeling that race was over after Nathan Stapleton ducked out of line and tried to make it all the way up, and he will end up starting in 12th. Scratch that 14th for the Daytona 500. Not going to mean anything in the end, as Brennan Wilmington will finally get back to Gatorade victory lane here in some sort of capacity on the North American Sim Racing Network. Taking a look at your official standings for duel number 2. Brennan Wilmington will start 4th. Collins will start 6th. Bouchard 8th. Fogelman in 10th to round out the top 10. Skylar Taylor 12th. Stapleton 14th. Lozano 16th. Fitzwater 18th. And Matthew Hubert round out of the top 20 for the Great American Race. Danny Fallington will start all the way back. Shotgun on the field in 42nd, along with 14 of Keegan Thompson. So that is how your field will stack up. The top 4 starting positions consist of Thomas Troxel, Esteban Lasser, Michael Lewis in the 90, the 62 of Brennan Wilmington. Set to be a fun one with 2 Fords and 2 Toyotas starting in the first 2 rows here for the 2025 running of the Smokies Best Damn Garage Daytona 500. And that will be what's be on your YouTube screens, television screens, whatever you watch on. That's what will be on the next time you turn in here on the North American Sim Racing Network. Will be coverage of the 5th annual Smokies Best Damn Garage Daytona 500 to kick off the 2025 season of the North American Sim Racing Network's Enter 2003 Mission Barbecue Cup Series right here on the NASRN. But I've been yapping enough. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, ladies and gentlemen. And the next time we see you, it'll be race day for race number 1 of 36 here in the 2025 campaign. The Enter 2003 Mission Barbecue Cup Series. Have a great evening, ladies and gentlemen.